Hello, this is T Chapman 500. Welcome to a game of Warpath, 21st Century Edition. If I had to guess, this game was released somewhere in 2000 or 2001, but I'm not really sure about that. Anyways, the premise for this game is quite simple. The galaxy is divided between the Warpath and the Peace Path, and well, I'm picking whatever team is red. The gameplay loop is quite simple. Find an uninhabited planet, extract resources from it, then go to a habited planet to sell those resources. In this case, I'm just gonna go back to my home planet. Once you arrive at the home planet, you can just click a button to sell all of your cargo. Just like that, and we make some money while we're at it. For this round, the only inhabited planets are your home planet, at least until you colonize new planets. But every time we go to an inhabited planet, we get some colonists that we can use to colonize other planets. Colonists are dropped off in groups of 200. To colonize a planet, just go to an uninhabited planet and click on the Colonize button. When you come across an inhabited planet, you can invest in infrastructure for that planet. There are 6 categories to invest in, and each category takes 30,000 credits to invest 100% into that category. That's a total of 180,000 credits to fully invest in a planet. To increase the population of your empire faster, you should also recolonize already colonized planets that are of the same species that you are. Here's our first encounter with an NPC. Those square shields that they have are a special type of shield that allows them to go through sector barriers without taking damage. They become available at tech level 10. Right now, I'm tech level 1, and NPCs spawn with them regardless of their tech level. Tech level is tied directly to the population of your empire, and the more players you have on your side, the higher your tech level will naturally be compared to the other team. I don't have to worry about the NPCs attacking me as long as I don't attack them or their planets. NPCs will also never deliberately fire on a planet. Ever. To make the most money in this game, you need to find a planet that has the fewest amount of resources and colonize that, and sell resources to the planet you just colonized. You can then use that very same money to invest into that planet's infrastructure. And by the way, in that line graph, pay no attention to the green line going up like that. All that matters is that the red line reaches tech level 3. By the way, the window's actually 800 by 600, but I scaled it up in OBS to take up the entire height of the screen. And here's an example of a planet firing on me. The planet's hidden by the ship. I can't help but notice that the NPCs have put a colony in my sector. And it's launching drones. Fortunately, I can destroy the drones without any fear of retaliation. And here's a second colony in my sector. Here's what happens if you cross sector boundaries when the sector boundaries are red. I just lost one of my shield modules. Had I not had any shield modules, I would have been outright destroyed. By the way, I think it's about time I return the favor of the NPCs putting a colony in my sector. We've just achieved level 3 technology. Time for war. This is a neutron bomb. And this is what I will use to destroy the enemy fleet. By the way, OBS is not showing any drop-down menus or pop-up menus or dialog boxes, etc. Open fire. Ships are pretty easy to dispatch with just the Tech 3 missiles. And now that I've opened fire, the war has officially begun. The NPCs will start coming after me. And so begins the first big battle of this game. And here are Green's reinforcements. A tad bit too late, and it's not gonna make much difference. That being said, I do need to be in the other sector where all of my planets are. 5 versus 1 is so unfair. Or at least it would be if I didn't have those hot plasma missiles. Oh look, now it's 6 versus 1. By the way, did I mention that this is the hardest difficulty level? But just by holding my fire until I get those hot plasma missiles, I'm able to defeat the entire team that's against me. Also notice that I have the auto shopper on. Whenever I dock at a planet that's mine that has the infrastructure, I get instantly resupplied with ammunition, energy, and shields. You might also notice that I'm being very careful not to accidentally fire on my own planets. The AI are not so careful, and neither are the planets, or the drones, Thanks to the AI being reckless when it comes to firing their weapons in proximity to the planets, they've actually lost one of their colonies. That doesn't mean it's on my side, it just means it's no longer on their side. And there's way too much investment in the planet already to make them join my side fully, so they'll basically remain neutral for the rest of the match. You'd at least think that the AI would take the time to recover their strength after losing such a big battle, but they have absolutely no sense of strategy, but I do. I'm basically gonna purge every colony in this sector that's not mine, very carefully. That's 1 down, 2 or 3 to go. Considering the fact that the NPCs lost a 6v1 battle, it would be wise for them to just not enter this sector until they can gather their forces in one place. Ooh, everyone's gathered in one spot. Feast time! By the way, firing weapons consumes energy, which means if I run out, I have to go back to my planet to recharge. Unfortunately, the NPCs aren't smart enough to realize that they should wait until I enter their space to fight them, and not follow me back into my space. Here's something you might find interesting. If there's an NPC on your team, and you get defeated, while your NPC ally is not defeated, then the game will eventually softlock. Here comes the last big battle of this game. It's 4 versus 1, 3 versus 1, 2 versus 1. Perhaps they should have waited until they were at full strength. Anyways, it's time for me to colonize another planet. What could possibly go wrong? How about artificial morons trying to pelt me to death with lasers that do nothing against my ship? Or almost nothing. If you win your first battle in this game, especially if it's a massive battle, you've pretty much won the rest of the game. Time to go on the offensive. They're not gonna like this, but there's nothing they can really do about it. Oh, except maybe nuke me to death, but that proved ineffective this time. The auto shop is way overpowered. By the way, the more you attack the planets, the more the planets will attack you back. Thanks to the auto shop, all I have to do is redock with the planet after I respawn and I get all my strength back. Except for the weapons, of course, and the cargo pods. And here I'm buying spare ship hulls, which means I can be a bit more reckless. The most common way that you will win a game of Warpath is to make the opposing team run out of ships. I suppose there are other win conditions, but I don't know how to trigger them. By the way, it takes a little while for the game to realize that the opposing team has run out of ships. Time for a new game. I'm gonna make this a bit harder for me by turning on atmosphere management, which the AI can do instantly. Each species in the game has a different atmospheric requirement. For humans, that's at least a 20% oxygen atmosphere and no methane or cyanide. Almost no methane or cyanide. You can get by with a couple percent, but not much. And what you're also gonna find is that most of the planets are uninhabitable for the player specifically. By the way, terraforming technology becomes available at level 2. I'm currently at level 1. The opposing team is at level 3 just by the fact that they have 7 NPCs on their side. Oh look, I finally found a planet that's suitable for human colonization. Of course I'm gonna take advantage of it. And I'm about to discover a third planet suitable for human colonization. And since these other 2 planets are so rich in resources, I can't make very much money from them. But what I can do is make stops at all of my inhabited planets and pick up colonists, which I can then put back onto planets to increase my population faster, which in turn increases my tech level at certain milestones. It's also the case that the higher the population is, the more money I make in taxes every minute. Oh, and would you look at that? The AI have already colonized my sector. That's level 3 reached. Let's get those hot plasma missiles. And here's the first NPC to pay the price for invading my space. The other NPCs won't like this, but there's not much they'll be able to do about it. In spite of the fact that the NPCs can use the same strategy I used in the last game of instantly recharging their ship, they somehow do not. It's their loss, I suppose, and in the last game they lost a 6v1, so they're probably gonna lose a 5v1 this game. I'm actually waiting to attack the planets directly until the first big battle, which is coming up right now. Unlike the last game where I had to deal with 6 NPCs at once, in this game I only have to deal with them 1 or 2 at a time. But unlike the last game, I do have to contend with the planets also firing on my ship. After a quick recharge at my home planet, I'm up against 5 NPCs at once. Completely unfair in my opinion. Unfair for them at least. The opposing team is completely maxed out in terms of tech level, but they still can't do anything about me. Going off into the void also won't help them either, because even though I'm not gonna follow them there, they eventually have to come back, and when they do, I'll be waiting for them. Remember what I said about needing special shields to cross sector boundaries? Well, if you have enough normal shields, you actually don't need it. But it is convenient to have it. Besides, why go to the enemy's sector when I can just wait for them to come to my sector? I'm pretty sure that if these weren't NPCs that I was fighting, I wouldn't stand a chance. But since they are NPCs, even their own planets can't help them. Okay, time to start the purge. I'm sure that if there was a remake of this game, the NPCs would be a lot smarter in how they handled the player. And no more will these planets be harassing me while I'm at my home planet. I should have taken care of them first. Click, 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 click. A whole bunch of clicks. A whole bunch more clicks. An NPC having technical difficulties. And prioritizing targeting the planets over the NPCs. By the way, here's a look at the terraforming technology. All I need to do is buy some nitrogen gas bombs and bombard a planet I want to colonize with it to reduce the amount of methane and cyanide in the atmosphere. After eliminating nearly all cyanide and methane gas from the atmosphere, I will get oxygen gas bombs. Those will be used to bring the oxygen level up to at least 20%. By the way, the AI terraform instantly. Here's the oxygen I need. I actually only need 2 or 3 canisters to make the atmosphere suitable for humans. That is, of course, assuming that the NPCs do not un-terraform the planet. Thankfully, they didn't. And at this point in the game, I'm getting so much income from taxes that I don't have to worry about which categories I invest in. And there's another planet terraformed. By the way, did I mention you can use the terraforming devices as weapons? Time to purge the rest of the galaxy. They'll of course resist the purge, but resistance is futile. Oh no, I'm outnumbered 3 to 1, 2 to 1. Whatever will I do? How about win the battle and unleash a plague on a random planet? Actually, I changed my mind. I'll unleash the plague on all the planets. Or use orbital bombardment, makes no difference to me. I don't think the NPCs liked that very much. Oh well, it's not like they can do anything about it. Time to infect some more planets. And I believe that's the whole sector infected. And this is the shot that wins the game. Okay, so it's time for a new game. This time we're gonna have inhabited planets that are not populated by the players. These planets will have a yellow outline unless you persuade them to join one team or the other. You persuade them to join your team by investing in infrastructure on that planet, and you persuade them to join the other team by attacking them. For a truly neutral planet, you need to invest at least 150% into their infrastructure. That's an investment in 2 separate categories, and you might want to do a 3rd category just to be safe. Bringing these planets onto your side gives you bigger paydays. In fact, I think I may have just made the game a lot easier for myself with this one move. In fact, I really don't know what I could do to make this game harder for me, since all I have to do is hold my fire until I get to tech level 3. Then I'm practically invincible. Oh, look on the minimap display. The infestation has started. But notice how my population graph is greatly outpacing that of my opponent. Yeah, I definitely made this game easier for me rather than my opponent. Cheaters. I'm off to an absolutely fantastic start, aren't I? But this is no time to panic. I will have my revenge. I just need to be patient. So these planets are betraying me. Nothing a little bit more investment can't fix, but neutrality is not an option. Time to go on the offensive. These hot plasma missiles are really overpowered for how early you get them. Then again, I'm not sure it would matter much if I had to wait until level 10 to get them. Oh, did I accidentally hit your planet? I'm so sorry. Not really. It's time for me to avenge those 2 ships. Look at this pathetic attempt to destroy my ship for the 3rd time. Now that the NPC ships are taken care of, time to take care of these planets. Resistance is futile. I think I've made up for the loss of my 2 ships, but not for the fact that they've infested my sector. Oh look, another 4v1. Whatever will I do? Actually, I think you know exactly what's gonna happen as long as I don't run out of hot plasma missiles. That planet in the other sector is irrelevant. What is relevant are the enemy colonies in my sector. This operation would be a lot more effective if I had neutron bombs. I changed my mind. That planet in the other sector is relevant. And no longer inhabited. And as you can see from the minimap, I have not yet left my home sector this game. But why should I leave my home sector when the enemy just keeps coming to me? I suppose one way to make this game harder would be to make it so that the AI fired a bit more rapidly. Well, the enemy ships anyways. The planets are fine the way they are. There goes the second to last enemy colony, and the last enemy colony. I left that treasonous neutral planet alone this time, but I don't think I'm gonna be that generous next time. Now that I've purged my sector, it's time for me to purge the enemy sectors. Of course, I could just wait till the enemy ships come to me, but that would be boring now, wouldn't it? In one of my previous games, I purchased some spare ships, something the AI will never do. Time for the NPCs to say goodbye to their last ship. And that's the game. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe, and share, and I will see you in the next video. This is T Chapman 500 signing off.